Super Mario 64, the ultimate 3D Mario game and also the first of its kind. This game had some of the best review scores in history, with an average score of 9.5. But there are a lot of secrets surrounding this game, and that's why we're going to do 12 fun facts about Mario 64.
Here we go!
Number 1. The Big Boo in Big Boo's Haunt originally held a key instead of a power star inside of him. The keys would unlock the various doors in Big Boo's Haunt. There was even a key counter to display how many keys the player had acquired. But this never made it into the game. Number 2. Early in development, there was originally going to be a level cleared flagpole. However, the developers felt that scouring the land for hidden items was better, so the flagpole was scrapped. But it would be included in Super Mario 3D Land and Super Mario 3D World. Number 3. Mario 64 is a pretty big game for an 8 MB cartridge, but it was supposed to be much bigger. Like, a lot bigger. The original plan was for Mario 64 to contain as many as 72 different stages. During development, Miyamoto and co-director Takashi claimed to have 32 stages in the works, with plans for at least 40 more. And those numbers didn't even include bonus stages. So that's an insane number. But there was one problem. The 8 MB cartridge limit. So the final game only had 15 stages as well as a handful of Bowser courses. But they had to pump up the game's length. So Nintendo instead focused on exploration and tasked the players with tackling different missions within the same level. Number 4. In early versions of the game, Mario's health bar was different. Very different. It featured numbers instead of the slices, as well as 3 different colors, green, yellow and red. This was later changed in the finished product where Mario's health is a full pie graph, and the colors that are in the final version of the health bar are blue, green, yellow and red. It's unknown why this was changed, but in my opinion, it was a good choice. Number 5. Early on, Mario 64 was developed on Onyx computers, and because the N64 controller hadn't been finalized, the developers used modified Sega controllers to control the game. Eventually, after nearly 100 prototypes, the N64 controller would be finalized. But still, one of the quintessential Nintendo games was originally controlled by a Sega gamepad. Now that's weird. Number 6. Mario 64 wasn't planned to be a single-player game. No. A multiplayer split-screen function was planned early on, but it was scrapped, likely due to hardware limitations. Likewise, Luigi was briefly planned to be present in the game, but scrapped for the same reason, as the team couldn't include both him and the elaborate level design they wanted. So they threw the entire idea out of the window and went with single player. But we do see Luigi in the DS remake. Number 7. This one would have been a horrible choice if it was actually in the game. There were plans for Mario to ride a freaking horse in Mario 64. No, not Yoshi. A horse. What? Luckily enough, it didn't end up happening in Super Mario 64, but Miyamoto was apparently so stuck on the idea that he insisted horse riding would be a thing in the new Zelda game, Ocarina of Time. So yeah, it turns out Epona was actually stolen from Super Mario 64. Number 8. Super Mario 64 was originally planned for release on the SNES, utilizing a more advanced version of the Super FX chip. However, the project was later moved to the N64. Super Mario 64 actually defined the features of the N64 controller, the analog stick and the C buttons respectively being incorporated for better movement in the 3D environment and better free camera control. This seems to show that the lack of buttons and the need for better processing power pushed the game to the N64. Number 9. There's a metal wing texture in the game for combining the wing cap and a metal cap, similar to how the vanish cap and the metal cap can be combined in Dire Docks. There are no levels in the game where it would be possible to equip both simultaneously, but they do function and use this texture if given to Mario through hacking. Number 10. The idea of Metal Mario may have come from an interview with Shigeru Miyamoto in 1991. In Nintendo Power's Mario Mania Player's Guide, Miyamoto reportedly said, "Who knows what Mario will look like in the future? Maybe he'll wear metallic clothes." So this quote could have been a hint towards Mario's new power. Number 11. In the world Bowser in the Sky, two Goombas can be seen on the same platform together. These two Goombas are actually part of a Goomba Trio object loaded by the game. However, the third Goomba is placed over the edge of the platform, resulting in it rendering at the bottom of the stage, out of reach. So yeah, that was some sort of a mistake. Number 12. Nintendo never really made a true successor to Super Mario 64. Super Mario Sunshine was the closest they got, but that game had somewhat of a different feel, a bit of a wacky summer vibe. After Sunshine, they went with Super Mario Galaxy, which chopped off most of the exploration and freedom of Mario 64 in favor of more linear and focused stages. At one point, there was actually a Super Mario 64 2 in the works. The game was intended to be released for the 64DD, Nintendo's writable disc add-on for the N64. The game was also supposed to finally deliver the playable Luigi and split-screen multiplayer. Unfortunately, 64DD wasn't really a hit, selling under 100,000 units in Japan. With the 64DD being a failure, Nintendo decided to cancel its killer app, and thus Super Mario 64 2 would never see the light of day. How great that you watched the entire video! I hope you enjoyed it, I worked really hard on it. And if you want to watch more of my videos, click the annotations on the screen right now or in the upper right corner, and why not subscribe, then you won't miss a thing!